Good morning. So this is Pete Duranzio with PD Programming, and I just recently had a question about how you create a high crash location list for fatality crashes only. And so I'm going to prepare that and show you how that's done. So the first thing you do is you find your agency and you put in your login and your password, and you click on the analysis button. That'll log you in. Now you're ready to do some analysis. If you've never done any work before, your tree will be empty, your study area will be empty. If you have, you may have some things in there if you've done some work. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new study that encompasses the date range that I want to look at for my high crash location list. So to find my list of intersections, first thing I need to do is tell it what time period I want to look at. So main thing is you want to make sure the type of your study is date range. It might be also called all data in some cases, but the key thing is that all it asks you for parameters are your date range. Okay, so I've created a study here. I've specified all of 2016 for my data, and now I'm going to click on the high crash location list button. This will let me pick a high crash location list report, because now I already have the study, and now I'm going to say this is the report I want. Anybody who has streets in their database with street, cross street, and does intersection studies will have intersection location list available to them as a type of location list. In Arizona, you'll also have some of these down below. In other agencies, you may have other high crash location lists. This actually works for any of them, but I'm going to choose the one that everybody has, intersection location list. So once I select OK, it scans the database for all of 2016, finds all the crashes, and gives me a list of the intersections ranked by count. But we want to make sure we only have fatalities. So I'm going to go down here and choose the filter. This is how you limit crashes in any study, whether it be a high crash location list report that's inside of this study, or whether I'm looking at a collision diagram, what have you. In all those cases, I can limit to certain criteria in the database by using the filter. So I look through my list first to see, and I do not have any fatality filters, any filters for injury severity. So I'm going to choose a new filter, and a new filter is created down here. And I'm going to select, actually I'll rename it first, that'll make it clear what I'm working on. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm taking the new filter I created that got called Untitled 1, and I'm going to rename it. I'm going to call this Fatal Crashes. And that renames it. Easy enough to find now. Select it, and I can click on Edit. This will now let me set the criteria in the expression. So the first thing you need to do is find which field in your database tells you that it's a fatal crash. In Arizona, which is where this data is coming from, I know that this is injury severity. So I choose injury severity, and it gives me a list over here of the possible injury severities, and I see there's only one that relates to being fatal, so I choose that. I've already got equals selected automatically, so I choose Add to Expression. This now has created a filter that is injury severity equal to fatal, and we've got it called Fatal Crashes. So I'll save and return. Checks to make sure you've got it right, and if you do, it lets you back out. And now I have something called Fatal Crashes, which, as you'll see, says injury severity equals injury status fatal. Okay, so now we have our filter. That's all we needed. Now I'm going to choose OK, and that filter will now be applied to my study, to my All Data 2016 study. So any reports I create in there will only contain fatal crashes. So this is an example. 83rd and Thunderbird has the highest number of fatal crashes with 2 during 2016. This high crash location list works like any other. I can click on buttons here to create other reports. So I could, for example, choose four-way intersection on here, get a couple of collision diagrams. And so these are collision diagrams. Whoops, allow my Silverlight. There we go. So now I have 2 fatal crashes on this location, and I have a single fatal crash on this location. Whoops, I'm sorry. I just chose the high crash location list again. I was looking for 83rd and Happy Valley. There we go. So there's our single fatality there. So that's all. That's all you have to do. I'm going to add one little bit that's kind of useful sometimes, and that is, let's say I'm looking at that high crash location list, and it's already been limited by fatalities, but I also want to make sure I've only got nighttime crashes. maybe I've already got a filter for that. Oh, there's a nighttime crashes filter. If I choose that, you'll notice that it adds, by checking the checkbox for both fatal and nighttime, is it's saying that it must be a fatal crash, and in addition, it must be either dark lighted, dark not lighted, or unknown lighting in order for it to fit. I choose OK, and I've just whittled down my list a bit more to only nighttime crashes that were fatal. And so now those are my remaining 6 locations. And that's it. That's how you create a filter to limit crashes to fatality only or any other criteria, and create a high crash location list from that, and then reports if you like. Thanks very much. Hope that helped. And always shoot us an email if you ever have questions about how these things are done, and we'll be happy to make a little video for you or create a document for you that tells you how to do it. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.